Hi everybody, I'm Peter Travers and this is Popcorn, where I usually tell you a lot about the movies, but today in this special edition we're going to talk about the Golden Globes, which are on Sunday night, the first major award show of an award season that will culminate in the Oscars. And everybody asks, first of all, what are the Golden Globes? That's a big question because who are these people? They're the Hollywood Foreign Press. That means there's 90 of them and they work in America because they contribute articles about the movies to their foreign publications. That's it. Nobody really knows who they are. They're a mystery. But they're always considered predictors of the Oscars. And so it's great because they give awards for movies and for TV, which nobody ever does. So this is going to be tremendous fun. But remember, this is a year where we're in a political climate like never before. The women on the red carpet this particular Sunday night will all be dressed in black because of the movement for the Time's Up movement, the hashtag #MeToo, everything to show that they protest the sexual predators that have been named in Hollywood. So the host, Seth Meyers, has got his work cut out of him for him here. How is he going to deal with the seriousness and be funny about it and also help give out awards? I don't know. You know, my heart goes out to you, Seth. I know that you will do it. But remember, these awards are going to reflect what's going on in this country and countries outside of America. So I'm going to start with the category Best Movie Drama. And the nominees are Dunkirk, The Post, Call Me By Your Name, The Shape of Water, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. You know, for me, if I were picking it, I'd give it to Dunkirk right away because to me that's the best movie. But this isn't what's going to happen here. The most nominees for the Golden Globe went to basically The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro's love story about a mute cleaning woman and an alien. That's basically the one that's you've got to beat. And second up would be The Post, which is Steven Spielberg dealing with the Washington Post and the publication of the Pentagon Papers in a Trump era where freedom of the press is completely being threatened. So I think those are your two. And I think they're going to go with Shape of Water because Guillermo del Toro is a Mexican director. It has that aspect of being somebody who hasn't been rewarded. So, you know, go for it, Guillermo. Even though I'm for Dunkirk, I'm for you as well. Okay, Best Actress in a Drama. There's many nominees, but Frances McDormand in 3 Billboards, Meryl Streep in Post, and Sally Hawkins, who I just mentioned in Shape of Water, are the ones to watch. And Meryl Streep is playing Katharine Graham, the publisher of the Washington Post, who rose up after being dominated by men and said, I'm going to risk the family fortune and this paper to publish the Pentagon Papers. It's kind of irresistible. Meryl Streep, by the way, has won 8 Golden Globes already. I mean, she just has everything. But I'm going to predict they're going to give it to Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards because in that movie, she plays a woman who can't get justice from the police about the murder of her daughter, who is married to an abusive husband, who finds in herself the way to rise up and be independent. You know, McDormand doesn't do any press. She doesn't work the circuit for publicity. And so they think that will hurt her. It shouldn't. You know, I admire her for doing this. She does it her way, just like she does in this movie. She's irresistible. She should step up and get this. Best Actor in a Drama, you have the Behemoths. You have Gary Oldman playing Winston Churchill in Darkest Hour. You have Daniel Day-Lewis, who says that Phantom Thread is his last movie, never going to do another one. And then Timothée Chalamet in Call Me By Your Name, 22 years old, suddenly winning everything, becoming an Oscar favorite for this performance that he gives in this movie, which is such a knockout. The Golden Globes, unlike the Oscars, are very encouraging to young actors. So if Gary Oldman, who would be my pick, had to lose to anybody, I think it will be young Timothée Chalamet, and I've got no problem with that at all. Okay, then the Golden Globes, unlike the Oscars, they basically can't deal with just dramas, so they're going to say, we have a comedy category, and they've nominated 5 movies, musical or comedy: Lady Bird, Get Out, I, Tonya, Disaster Artist, The Greatest Showman. How is The Greatest Showman in there? It's not even the only musical. Did you even see Beauty and the Beast, Golden Globe people? I mean, what's your problem? This is a terrible movie. Shouldn't be there anyway. But the two that are really out there that are going to compete are Lady Bird, Greta Gerwig's solo directing debut, which is a beautiful thing about a mother and daughter and what it is to grow up in the early 2000s and be independent as a woman. And then Get Out, the horror movie, which is called a comedy by the Golden Globe people. I don't know why. Neither does the director, Jordan Peele. So I have to interrupt myself for a second and talk about Golden Globe mistakes. They're usually famous for making boneheaded moves. And this year, in terms of directors, the Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, Jordan Peele for Get Out, are the most talked about young, exciting directors. And are they nominated by the Golden Globes for their directing? Nah, it didn't happen. But anyway, in the category of comedy or musical, I say Lady Bird will win it. It is the year of the woman this time. This time they mean it, and I think this movie has it, so that will get it. Best Actress in a Comedy, Saoirse Ronan in Lady Bird and Margot Robbie in I, Tonya. Two young actresses are up against the formidable Dame Judi Dench in Victoria and Abdul. It is not impossible that Dame Judi, remember, she's 88 years old. Robbie and Saoirse Ronan are in their 20s, but I think if there is an upset, it will be for Judi Dench. I still think this is Saoirse Ronan's to lose. This is another, like Timothée Chalamet. They're both 22 years old, and they just give performances that are unbelievable in the depth of their emotion. So Saoirse Ronan for me. Best Actor in a Comedy, James Franco in The Disaster Artist. You know, he directed and produced the movie as well, playing one of the worst filmmakers of all time, Tommy Wiseau, is the favorite to win this. And then there's a guy named Daniel Kaluuya. Daniel is the star backed up. He's British. He is a black man that nobody had heard of in the acting community before this. And he's 28 years old and he's coming up. Franco is the favorite, but I think if there's a spoiler, bet on Daniel Kaluuya. Okay, supporting actress I'm going to go through fast because I'm saying Laurie Metcalf and Allison Janney and in I, Tonya, Mary J. Blige and Mudbound are the favorites. But Laurie Metcalf, if I had an award, if I could turn my cheat sheet here into an award, I would give it to you for playing that mother in Lady Bird. That is a great performance. Best Supporting Actor, you have Willem Dafoe in The Florida Project, Sam Rockwell in 3 Billboards, and Christopher Plummer in All the Money in the World. Facing young people like Armie Hammer, who's just in his early 30s. Christopher Plummer is 88 years old, and you remember he was spliced into this movie when Kevin Spacey got in trouble for being basically guilty of sexual misconduct. The movie was finished. They said, let's put Chris Plummer into this. That guy is one of the terrific actors of our time, but Willem Dafoe playing his first really openly sympathetic role in The Florida Project is the one to beat. Now, the great thing about the Golden Globes is that they do television, and they do television in a non-stodgy way. They're not like the Emmys who keep giving the same shows the awards all the time. They don't do it, and I commend them for it. I can trash them for a lot of other reasons. Why didn't you nominate Greta Gerwig as Best Director or Jordan Peele? But it's another day, another story. Anyway, Best TV Series Drama, Handmaid's Tale, Stranger Things, This Is Us, The Crown, and Game of Thrones. People, Handmaid's Tale is about women being subjugated by a society in the future in which men are all predators, using women. How does this lose? It can't lose. Not only does it fit the time, but it's a terrific series. And Elisabeth Moss, nominated for Best Actress Drama, up against Katrina Balfe in Outlander and Claire Foy in The Crown. Elisabeth Moss representing everything about Handmaid's Tale that people are relating to. A woman standing on her own and saying, you guys are crap, I'm not taking it anymore. She's got it. Best Actor Drama. This is an interesting one because Sterling K. Brown in This Is Us has won all the lead-up awards to this. He's great. He won for The People vs. O.J. Simpson last year. Now he's playing a father and also a son. Heart-wrenching performance. But people, we're talking about young against experience. How about Freddie Highmore, 25 years old, star of The Good Doctor, a new TV show that the Golden Globes love. He has autism, this character. So wonderful is this performance from Freddie Highmore that I think Sterling K. Brown has real trouble. Okay, Golden Globes break it up into musical and comedy too, you know, the same way they do for movies. So they've nominated as Best Musical or Comedy Series Blackish, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Master of None, Smilf, and Will and Grace, which came back. You know, this is the new thing. Roseanne's coming back. Will and Grace came back. Everybody said it wouldn't work. It's a huge ratings and critical hit. So great for them. But the show that got me, that's new, is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. This is a tremendous comedy that is laced with seriousness. And it has, as I skip over to Best Actress in a Comedy, Rachel Brosnahan. She's 27 years old. She's never done stand-up. She plays a woman in the 1950s who is going to do this against her family's wishes, against her husband's wishes. It is a spectacular performance. Again, I'm giving you this Golden Globe right now. You've got it. Rachel Brosnahan, it's you. Best Actor in a Comedy, Aziz Ansari in Master of None, and Eric McCormick in Will and Grace. They are the ones going after it. Eric McCormick has deepened the role of Will in a way I never would have expected when I was watching this. How did Eric McCormick make Will even a better character? So Aziz Ansari is the favorite. I've got nothing against him, but I'm saying Eric McCormick is going to pull this one out of a hat. All right, there's also a category called Best Movie Made for TV, and they are Big Little Lies, Fargo, Feud, Betty and Joan, The Sinner, and Top of the Lake, China Girl. People, Big Little Lies in every way. Do you know anybody that hasn't watched it? It's just this kind of a tremendous series that was done with the professionalism of a film, but again, about women saying men aren't going to determine our lives for us. Reese Witherspoon's nominated, but this series belongs to Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman is nominated for Best Actress in a Movie Made for TV, as are Jessica Lange and Susan Sarandon playing Betty Davis. And also, when I say that Feud has two great actresses like that, it's true, but I think Nicole Kidman in this movie, Big Little Lies, is playing a woman with an abusive husband who doesn't take it anymore. She stands up and says, no more. And what happens to her husband, brilliantly played by Alexander Skarsgård, is justice in a way. So if you're going to walk the red carpet and you're going to say this is the year of the woman, yes, for Nicole Kidman on that one. And Best Actor in a made-for-TV movie, Robert De Niro in Wizard of Lies playing Bernie Madoff, Ewan McGregor in Fargo, Kyle MacLachlan in Twin Peaks. I think this is also a year for Robert De Niro playing a guy everybody can hate. Why did Bernie Madoff do this? What made him, what motivated him to cheat so many people out of everything? And De Niro sometimes can walk through a performance. He doesn't do that in this one. So here we have a Golden Globes for 2018, a chance for them to say, let's have female warriors get up and get some prizes for what they're doing. And you've got a bunch of great ones. How, Golden Globe people, you didn't nominate a Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman, I don't know. You know, usually you are not prejudiced against big Hollywood blockbuster hits. But other than that, you pick the right ones. So seeing people like Nicole Kidman and Elisabeth Moss and Saoirse Ronan and Frances McDormand get the praise they deserve really makes this, not just for the Golden Globes, but for everyone, the year of the woman. So let's watch, let's see what Seth Meyers does with this material. Let's laugh, but at the same time, let's realize this is a year like no other year. Can't wait to see what happens. Thank you.